Hi, I'm Penny Cook, author of Pursuing Prayer Being Effective in a Busy World. And this video is my latest vlog for those of you who may not have time to read and like to listen or watch instead. So you can find the written portion at pennycookauthor.com. That's pennycook with an E, author.com. And the title is Who Carries You? So, who or what carries you when the road is long and hard and rocky? Perhaps you've heard Christians comment, I don't know how non believers do life without Christ. Perhaps you've said it yourself, as I have. Today is one of those days. What would I do if I wasn't in the Word and in the habit of going straight to the Lord to carry me through the rough spots? Reading the Bible and praying have carried me through a lot of difficult days in my life. It gave me hope and built my faith. It taught me my help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. Psalm 121, 1 and 2. So when my marriage was rocky and when my son was addicted and when our bank account was dry, I knew I could turn to the Lord for help and to lean on his strength and his wisdom. I don't know what I would have done without him, but I do know this: God did help. My marriage was saved, my son was healed, and God always provided somehow. It makes me wonder, what if I hadn't prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed? As a life coach, mentor, and friend, I hear stories all the time, as maybe you do too, even from believers. Like someone is having problems at work, but they really haven't prayed about it. Or someone else needs direction, but they're not reading their Bible. And someone else asks for prayer, but they're not in prayer themselves. Last week, I talked to someone who's having problems in her marriage. She wants out. She's a believer, however, she said she's more distant from God than ever. The very next day, I happened to speak with someone else who's having marriage problems. And she said she's been on her knees for months. She's seeing amazing changes in her husband and is open to working things out after almost signing the divorce papers. I can tell you neither of these situations is any worse than the other. So, what's the difference? Why is one believer so committed to prayer and to God and another lukewarm? Divorced or not, they're still going to need Lord's help. Life can feel like a war zone at times, can't it? It's been said that if you're not in a battle now, you will be. We don't make it out of this fallen world unscathed. The reason the marriage vows say for better or for worse is because it can get worse at times. That's just life on this planet, married or not. But there is hope. I've seen God work mightily through his word and prayer. He's proven himself over and over that he's able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we can ask or think. That's Ephesians 3:20. My addicted son is a pastor now. I didn't ask that. I just wanted him to get clean. But God did so much more. So I want to encourage you today to keep on keeping on. Stay close to the Lord and his word and prayer. Make it a habit, whether you feel like it or not. Make time for him, no matter how busy you are. It's the most important thing you can do, and certainly the most important thing you can model for your children. You may not think you need it now, today, but it's like a savings account. When the tires wear thin on your job, or the roof blows off of your marriage, or the washer and dryer of your health starts making odd noises and stops working, you're gonna need everything you stored in your heart. Even if your literal savings account runs dry, your spiritual one won't. Deuteronomy 11:18 says, Therefore you shall lay up these words of mine in your heart and in your soul, and bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. Lay them up, store them, save them in your heart. And so I've come up with three things that are what we need for our spiritual savings account for a strong and growing faith. Number one, seek earnestly. Jeremiah 29:13 says, "You will seek me and find me when you search for me with all your heart." Luke 10:27, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, with all your mind." Notice the repeated all in these verses. What would that look like for you and for me in this world today? I think we've drifted pretty far from that command, don't you? Number two is dwell richly. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, Colossians 3:16. And John 15:5, "I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides, dwells in me, and I in him, bears much fruit. For without me, you can do nothing." So where are you dwelling? Without his savings, we won't have the dividends of peace and strength and so much more. Number three is pray fervently. James 5:16 says, "The effective, fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much." But James 4:2 says, "You do not have because you do not ask." If you're feeling distant from God, who moved? He didn't. Just pray to him. He waits with open arms for you to return. Isaiah 30:18 says, "Therefore the Lord waits to be gracious to you, and therefore he exalts himself to show mercy to you. For the Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are all those who wait for him." So, seeking earnestly, dwelling richly, praying fervently will carry you. There's a lot to pray about these days, isn't there? I've discovered that even if I stay comfortable at home, safe from the virus, trouble still finds me here. I know I can't do life without him. We all need a little savings to carry us through the rough spots. But what happens when we wait for our car to break down before we decide to save for the unexpected? Likewise, deposits in our spiritual saving account will carry us through all our battles in peace and strength and so much more. I'll tell you about about his dividends next time. Meantime, I'll close with Psalm 27:13. "I would have lost heart unless I had believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living." And Psalm 46:1 says, "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble." So how about you? Have you lost heart? Or have you found God to be a very present help in trouble? I'd love for you to join the conversation in the comments here or on social media. And I hope you'll share this with a friend who might need to hear that God's waiting to pick them up and carry them through their trials. And please be sure to subscribe to this blog so you won't miss when I post next time. And again, my website is pennycookauthor.com, and that's cook with an E. So, and if you'd like to check out my book, that's there as well. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time, and keep praying.